Good afternoon, Mr. Trentis.
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. There's a charge that you didn't keep employee records properly, that there were drug transactions observed on the premises, and that there was a violation of live entertainment and marijuana found in the establishment. Do you admit or deny the charges themselves?
I acknowledge the charges.
All right, do you acknowledge that you allowed your premises to be used for the purpose of possession of a drug?
Did I allow it? I wasn't aware of it, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, I mean, I want to make sure you understand what you're saying there. Now, do you admit that you did not have complete employee records?
Yes,
All right, so that's an admission. But you're not admitting that you allowed your premises to be used for drugs?
yes,
Okay, so we're going to put a denial there. And then finally, do you admit that there was prohibited live entertainment?
yes.
Okay. All right. We'll hear at this time from Sergeant Davis.
When 2:15, at approximately 22:30 hours, we received information about drug activity from the location of Bill's Cafe. I went down, set up in a covert location, and I watched numerous transactions in and out of the side door entrance. And we identified two individuals, a Norman Robertson and a Garrett Mabry, that was DJs selling drugs out the side door. When we went in to place them under arrest, recovered from behind the DJ booth was it was 20 vials of crack cocaine, a bag of marijuana, some little bit of heroin was recovered from behind DJ booth within the establishment. And both individuals were working as a DJ at the establishment at the time.
All right, and what was the total weight, if you know, of the cocaine?
Well, the 20 vials was $20 vials. There was a little loose rock, I would say about $40 worth of loose rock. The marijuana was less than a half ounce of marijuana. And the heroin, was just very little.
All right, and you're indicating that it was sold out the door, out the side door?
Out the side door, he has double doors. There's a little side door entrance. The buyer would go into the door, meet up with the individual inside the door. And he had a little box, like a smoking box, like a bus stop area, but it was a smoking box. They would do it to conduct business right inside that door of the business.
All right, and upon questioning to Mr. Robinson and Mr. Mabry tell you how long they had been working at the bar?
They get hired as DJs temporarily for off and on occasions. The exact time I did not know.
All right. Was this all part of an undercover investigation that went on for some kind of time?
Truthfully, we've been locking a lot of people up from that area due to complaints. This particular time, they was actually using an establishment. Usually, it's a lot of patrons come and go, and they deal on the street. But this particular time, we tied it directly to the location.
When did the complaint start? A month, year?
I would say within the last 6 months, probably beginning of the year with this, and we still receive complaints.
The beginning of 2013.
2013, around the holidays.
All right, thank you. Sorry, Chairman.
All right, and though it's not absolutely dispositive for our case, do you know the results of the cases against Mr. Mabry and Mr. Robinson?
The state's attorney dismissed the cases because they denied the drugs. There was, out of the 8 people was arrested, I believe 5 of them was convicted.
But not Mr. Mabry or Robinson?
Correct,
Yeah.
because it was in a jacket, and even though the jacket was 4X and the guy weighed 285 pounds, the state's attorney said that wasn't enough to charge him, even though it was his equipment and his jacket in this area. But that's the state's attorney's office, that's not...
Right, no. We operate by a lower standard than guilt beyond a reasonable doubt here. All right, do you have, all events occurred in Baltimore City in your police report?
Yes, sir.
All right, and there are no additions or corrections there too?
No, sir.
All right. Any questions for Sergeant Davis?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, first commissioners, and then I'll definitely...
I'm sorry.
None.
All right, do you have any questions for the sergeant?
Sir, Commissioner, I have Mr. Mabry's court decision.
Right.
Sergeant Davis collaborated a moment ago.
As
He was found not guilty.
And he was, well, I see null process across the board.
Yes, sir.
That's actually
As for Mr.
technically a little different, but anyway.
again,
Null
sorry,
process, hold on, one time, yep. All right, so yes, so you're showing me that indeed The cases, all charges were null prost against Mr. Mabry.
And Mr. Abrams was just a friend of, he wasn't working for me. The
Okay,
other guy.
hang on, all right, and what else you got as far as documents?
This is just a copy of today's,
Oh, okay. All right, and Mr. Robinson, it's also your understanding he was not convicted?
no, sir.
Okay, all right, anything else you want to tell me?
Yeah, well, Commissioner, I've called Sergeant David at Southeastern before. When I met him, I asked him to come in, bring his people in, because I thought there was drug dealing in the bar. I asked him to bring in your undercover narcotics agents and they locked up a few people to come in the bathroom, whatever happened. So I've been a licensee since 1973, so I'm not new at this.
Right, that's why.
And so the area has decayed rather rapidly, as Sergeant Davis stated, and I agree with him. But I also have the bar for sale here, the license, but I'm getting out, as I try to work with the Southeastern Police on this case and priors, I don't know who's coming, as for somebody having marijuana in the coat pocket, I can't look through their clothes to find out what they're bringing in. And we try to monitor, but the observation that Sergeant Davis and his police officers noticed, my door is a vestibule, is a windbreaker, if you will. It's a side door open, and then there's a door that stops the air from blowing into the bars when you open the door. So this transaction that they observed, as I just found out, was not in our sight, from the bartender. They can't really, it's not in a clear view. Again, I don't condone, and all these people that had been locked up I've thrown them out.
All right, what are your hours at the bar, Mr. Trentis?
Sir, we open up at 9 in the morning, and we close according to business, 11 o'clock, midnight, sometimes 1:30, never before 2.
You mean never after 2?
I met one of the other Southeastern officers. We got too close to 2 o'clock, and this guy put the fear of God in me, so I closed the bar at 1:30, quarter to 2. We're out, legitimate time, 15 minutes early. I don't want to meet him again professionally.
But are you the one who closes the bar, Mr. Trentis?
No, I'm there 7 days, I go back 3 or 4 nights. The weekends, some.
How often were Mr. Mabry and Mr. Robinson in your bar?
Commissioner, they came in occasionally. I don't know how to answer that.
Once a month, once a week?
No, once a week, twice a week, maybe. I mean, they were buying beverages and acting as patrons. I don't know. Gary.
I'm sorry, weren't they also working for you as?
No, only the DJ. Gary, I used him occasionally. This is Valentine's Day. I was just trying to do something to generate some more business.
All right, Mr. Mabry, you say, was a DJ?
Yes, sir.
And you'd actually pay him?
Yes.
Was Mr. Robinson also an occasional DJ?
No, he's a friend of Mr. Mabry's.
Okay.
He was not employed by me.
All right. How long had you had a relationship with Mr. Mabry as a contract DJ?
I've known him about 8 months, maybe 9. I used him occasionally, not often at all.
All right. Any other questions, commissioners? All right. Anything else you'd like to say?
I'm just gonna hold this quick.
I'm sorry,
The
sir?
DJ,
Yes.
when you interview someone for the DJ's job, do you give them any instruction, or do you ask any question knowing the type of area that your business is in, and you say the area is deteriorating, and you have had the police to come in and do undercover work to?
Commissioner,
What question do you put to the person that you hire?
well, when, this was last February, I believe, we brought up that we didn't tolerate drugs. I'm a responsible licensee. So I told the DJ that, I don't tolerate any of this nonsense, and I told the patrons the same thing, get out, don't, the police are all over us, get out, get away from me, don't do it anywhere around me. I can't judge what's in their pockets, I don't know what they're doing behind my back or in the bathrooms. Although we sent people in the ladies' bathrooms, and we tried to tighten up the bar as much as possible, sir, but I can't tell if you're holding something in your pocket right now or not.
I'm not
I know,
holding
sir,
anything in my pocket.
I'm using it just for example, not you as commissioner. But I'm just saying, the licensee, I can't tell who's got what on them.
No, that's it.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, sir.
All right. We're going to go off the record. since 1973. The fact that this board has never seen the man tells me that that's a good sign right there. All right. All right. Let's go on the record. September 26, 2013, Nicholas Trentis, trading as Bill's Cafe, 6701 to 05 Holabird Avenue, with multiple violations here. The Rule 3.03C, Mr. Trentis admitted his culpability therein. He did not have his employee roster with the names of persons who worked there, even on an occasional basis. Those employee rosters are important, Mr. Trentis, for law enforcement and for our inspectors to be able to do their jobs.
David made that point well clear to me.
Right, right. Given your length, you know the liquor board rules. You've been a licensee for a long time. Looks like 40 years at the same location. That's guilty by preponderance of the evidence, $25 fine. The 4.18 charge allowing commission of acts we are going to find you guilty based on the sergeant's report and fine you $100. With respect to the 4.16, allowing the premises to be used for transfer, use, or possession of drugs, the sergeant's report and his testimony, indicate that this was somewhat open and notorious at the time. A lot of a large quantity, not in weight of drugs, but in terms of the packaging, in terms of the units of drugs, were being stored in the DJ booth. It's quite a bit of currency there. You're talking about 30 units effectively of different controlled dangerous substances. It's a pretty serious situation. The board is going to find, by a preponderance of the evidence, that you knew or should have known what was going on at that DJ booth. Given your 40-year history at this location and the fact that this is the very first time you've ever appeared before this particular three-member commission, the board is going to fine you $500 for that offense. That is a 2-to-1 vote in favor of fining you $500. Commissioner Smith believes that the charges are egregious enough to warrant a suspension of your license. That's not going to happen today because the other two members of the board have voted for a $500 fine. And we're also somewhat moved, the majority, Commissioner Jones and I, that you are talking about maybe getting out of the business, because we do require a high level of administration to make sure. I believe you keep that. You give it to a prospective buyer. Yeah. So our fine is $500 on the 4.16, $100 on the 4.18, $25 on the 3.03C. That's $625, and then there is a $125 hearing fee. So the grand total today is $750. How soon can you pay that?
A week, 10 days. I'm recovering from pneumonia. My board's closed right now as we speak.
All right. How about close of business a week from Monday? Commissioner, do you know what day that is? That's 10 days, 10 or 11. October 7th. And all I can tell you is just don't get any more trouble till you get rid of this
You won't
place.
see me again, I promise you.
All right. Now, again, for me, you're 40 years in business. You know what you need to do to stay open.
In our family, 62 years. My dad voted 51.
All right.
Keep in mind, you were one vote from suspension,
I
one
understand,
vote.
sir. I understand.
All right. Thank you very. All right. $750 due October 7th, 2013. Thank you very much. No, you're going to sign something, and then we're going to expect you to send it to us. So we're going to have to come get your license. Thank you, Sergeant Davis. We are off the record.